Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Jackson versus Hightower.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Jackson, you have always believed Mr. Hightower was your father, but claim he disappeared out of your life when you were 6 and denied paternity. After reconnecting with him on the phone 2 months ago, you opened your case to prove what you have always known, that he is your biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Jackson, it has been almost 20 years since you've seen the man you believe is your father. Are you ready to see him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Jerome, please escort him in.
Got it. I'm gonna go right up here on the left.
Ms. Jackson,
Yes, Your Honor.
you say you've always known Mr. Hightower is your father.
Yes.
Please explain.
My mom told me a while back when I was younger that he was my father, and I also have memories of him coming around when I was a little girl.
Please tell the court what you remember.
I remember going to the mall sometimes to meet with him, and sometimes him coming over to my house and just sitting in the car and watching me play in the front yard.
Mr. Hightower,
Yes, ma'am.
did you have a relationship with Ms. Jackson's mother?
Yes, I did.
Tell the court about the nature of your relationship.
Me and her mother had a relation, and we was intimate for like about 6 months, about 35, 40 times. After that, kind of broke off after that.
Okay. And so Ms. Jackson says you are the man she was always told was her biological father. Did you know about her?
Yes, I did. But at the time, there was other individuals involved, so that's why I have doubt that I'm not the father. We did, I asked her a couple of times if we could have a paternity test, and that didn't fall through.
And so there's been a question of paternity in your mind from the beginning.
Yes, ma'am.
So much so that you even requested a DNA test.
Yes, ma'am.
But unfortunately, it was never administered.
No.
When her mother got pregnant, what did she tell you?
I seen her 2 months. She was 2 months pregnant at the time that I seen her. But at that time, her ex came back into the picture. So the dates that she was telling me just didn't add up.
You realized that the window of conception pointed more towards her ex than it did to you.
That's correct.
What did she tell you?
She told me that I was the father.
She did.
Yes, sir.
Can I say something?
Yes, you may, Ms. Jackson.
Actually, he was going to the doctor's appointments with my mom, too.
You were.
Yeah.
Never happened. I don't know why her mom would tell her that.
I don't
but
think she'll lie to me.
I never, ever went to a doctor's appointment, because at the time, I was in a relationship.
All right. And so what did she tell you about the relationship she had with Mr. Hightower?
She told me that him and her, they weren't really in an actual relationship, but they did mess around quite a lot, and that he couldn't tell everybody else that him and her was in relations or messing around.
But at the end of the day, she knew definitively that he was your biological father.
Correct.
Mr. Hightower, when was the first time you saw Ms. Jackson as a baby?
She was 2 years old.
And under what pretense? Why is it you saw her? How is it you saw her?
I seen her because I always in my mind, I thought, well, maybe it's a possibility. So at that time, I went and picked her up. Me and Miss Hightower picked her up. Then we took her to the mall, went to the mall. So at that point, I just left it like that.
I don't remember him picking me up and taking me to the mall. I remember my mom taking me to the mall, and I do remember her, the lady.
So you remember meeting Mr. Hightower?
Yes, I do.
As a child?
Yes.
What are your memories?
I remember he used to come over to my house. We used to go to the mall and, eat lunch or something. And once upon a time, he used to stay a night at my house. And the last time I seen him, when I was about 6 years old, he told me that he was going to buy me a bike for Christmas, but he disappeared and never came back.
Did you say that to her, Mr. Hightower? You gonna buy her a bike?
No, ma'am.
And never came back?
No, ma'am. I don't recall any of those things like that. I did go over there, but never stayed the night. Because like I said, at that time I was married. I couldn't stay the night at somebody else's house like that. So, and I never promised a bike.
I think things weren't going right with him and her or something, but I do remember him staying a night.
And you say at that time you were married and you had a wife, and your wife is here in court with you today. Ma'am, would you please stand and step up to the podium? Your name, ma'am?
Lisa Hightower.
Do you remember meeting Brittany?
I do, and she was 2 years old. We picked her up and we took her to the mall. And she says, I don't know how she remembers me, because that's the last time I've seen her. I mean, I've seen her other times, but it was when she was 2 and 3. It's a good memory.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Well, I will say this about children. When there is a memory embedded in their mind, like this is one of the only few times I've seen the man I believe is my father, some children just don't forget that. We hear that all the time in this courtroom.
Yeah.
Children remember those things. And I see that. What are you feeling, Brittany?
I'm mad because I shouldn't even have to go through all this, you know. It shouldn't have been 20 years later that you decided to come and find me. If you believe that I was your daughter, then you would have put in the effort to get the DNA test to find out and not miss parts of my life.
And what was it like growing up without him?
I mean, I was always loved, you know.
Your Honor, I tried on several occasions to go and get the DNA test, but her mother never followed through with the DNA. So I have a total of 14 kids, and all my kids know each other. So there would be no reason for me not to do the same with her.
When I was 18, I was an adult, right? So I could have made my own decisions. You know, it didn't have to be, I'm 24 now.
What she's saying, Mr. Hightower, she doesn't believe you put enough commitment and effort towards being a part of her life and finding her. DNA test or no DNA test, I mean, honestly, if you believed she was your daughter, then why not just...
Well, Your Honor, I didn't believe that she was my daughter because there was 2 other gentlemen that was in her mom's life at the time.
But Miss Jackson, your mother has maintained, she has said to you, Mr. Hightower is your biological father, is that correct?
She's always told me that, yeah.
She's never wavered.
Nope.
So did you start searching for
Yes.
Mr. Hightower?
When I was about 15, I would look on the social media websites and try to Google and find people that's related to him, but it never was successful.
And so you would search and search, but you never found him.
Nope. And then eventually I just gave up.
And then you gave up. And so how did you reconnect with him a couple months ago?
One day I received a friend request from, I believe, one of his daughters. And I knew it was his daughter because she had the same last name as him. And so she continued to send me a message and say, I think you might be my sister. And then I just was like, okay. And then so she asked, can he have my number? And I told her, yeah. And then he called my phone and he talked to me and said that he wanted to do a DNA testing.
What was that first conversation like? What did he say when you talked to him?
About how he had doubts of me being his daughter and his reasons why.
And then how did you feel? Now you're 24. How did you feel?
When I did talk to him, it felt like we kind of connected, you know.
Okay. It's interesting, though, that he found you, Mr. Hightower. What was happening that after all these years, one of your children reaches out to Miss Jackson?
My life that I was living back in the past, I changed my life. I turned my life over to God. So I felt that there was closure that I needed. So I asked my daughter if she can find her so I can reach out to her, because that was a chapter of my life that I wanted to close one way or the other. I wanted to find out.
So you had been living with this all these years as well.
Yes, ma'am.
And as you began to strengthen your faith, you knew that there were parts of your past that you had left open, and you wanted to make sure you closed things the right way.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
if she was your daughter, to be a part of her life, and if she was not, to know that for certain and make sure she did as well.
Yes, ma'am.
So what was that first conversation like for you when you finally spoke with Brittany?
For me, it was good conversation. I, enjoyed having a conversation. She told me about her kids. I asked her how was she doing. She said, she had 4 kids and she was with the same guy in high school, and I was, proud. And then that's pretty much how the conversation went. I told her, that I want to do a DNA if she was okay with that, and she said yes.
And were you relieved when he said yes?
Yeah.
And what else did you feel, Brittany?
Like a sense of relief, because I finally got to talk to him, and I haven't, talked to him or seen him ever since I was younger. So, it actually felt kind of good.
So as you look at him and he's here in court, what do you want to say? Is there something you've had years to think about this man that everyone has said is your biological father, and you've been confused about where he is, why he wasn't in your life? What would you like to say to him right now?
I've always lived in Sacramento. I never went anywhere else. Why didn't you try harder?
That's a question, Mr. Hightower.
Like I said, I was going through things in my life that I needed to take care of me before I can take care of another child. Plus, I did attempt to do several DNA tests with her mom, which made me to believe that she wasn't my child, because if she was my child, I feel that her mom would have put forth that effort in the beginning to go through with the DNA, especially when I'm telling her that I'll pay for the DNA test. So by that, it made me lose that oh yeah, that's real good possibility that that's my child. That made me to believe that something ain't right. Because like I said, again, she was involved with 2 other men that could be her biological father also.
But your mother has never told you, Ms. Jackson, about 2 other men, am I correct?
No.
You admit Ms. Jackson's mother did tell you you were the father when she got pregnant. She said it was you. So, Brittany, before we go to the results, I want you to talk to the court and to Mr. Hightower about what your hopes are and why this is so important to you.
I feel like I have the right to know, if he is my biological father or not. If he is, I would like to have, a relationship with him, and I would like my kids to know who their grandfather is. And one day I plan on getting married, and if he is my dad, I would like for him to walk me down the aisle.
Like every girl wants. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's those little things every little girl wants.
Every little girl wants to have a relationship with her dad.
You're
Well,
right.
if he is my dad.
I'm happy you were able to say that, honey. Because I know that's hard for you. But it's important that you say that. And
Right.
it's okay to acknowledge the hurt you felt. I have the results for you. Jerome?
Yes.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Jackson versus Hightower, when it comes to 24-year-old Brittany Jackson, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Hightower, you are not the father. He's unfortunately not your biological father after all.
Gotta give her a hug.
No, thank you.
You're just not ready, but that
Yes,
was lovely. This is very difficult. I thank you for attempting to support this beautiful young woman. And it's not over. It's not completely behind her yet, but we at least have gotten to one step in the truth. And thank you for being here and being willing to confront that time in your past. And I hope it has given you some closure as well.
Yes, ma'am.
We have counseling and resources for you. I wish you all the very best. Court is adjourned. Brittany, come up here, honey. Listen, you got yourself to this point. You have now literally walked out of a 24-year-old lie, right? That you've been carrying all these years. You don't have to carry that part anymore, right? And don't be afraid to ask your mother the questions you need to ask to see if you can get more answers. And if you can do that, then we will help you do what you need to do, all right? And until that time, you be a good mother, you be a good partner, and you raise your family and teach your children the importance of truth, right? I wish you the best. You're gonna be just fine, okay?